It is 111 degrees outside. I have to turn my air off when I'm filming, so I'm gonna be sweating in this video because it is hot. I'm already out of breath and I can already see the perspiration. I've been trying therapy for about 7 months now, and I know you have all the questions, so hopefully I have all the answers. When I started therapy, I was very depressed, struggling with generational trauma, old childhood trauma, lots of baggage, lack of self-worth, lack of motivation, severe social and just general anxiety. Not just saying those things, actually like diagnosed. And a lot of destructive behavior, truthfully, and a lot of toxic patterns that I didn't know how to get rid of that I had learned growing up and out of like a survival mode. And I spent a lot of time just wallowing in victim mode. And because of therapy, I have been able to take my life back, take my power back, begin manifesting my dream life again, enjoying my life for what it is in the present moment, understanding why people that did things to me did those things so I can see it from a different point of view versus the hate and the anger I used to have. I have a sense of peace and calm and forgiveness, and I just feel happier in my overall life. Now, I will tell you, I am not perfect, nowhere near perfect, and I still struggle with all of these things that I mentioned just a minute ago. And that is a part of my mental health journey, is that it is a forever journey. I've said this before, but mental health is not a path that you walk on once. It is a journey that you have to continue on forever if you struggle with mental health. But it is beautiful and worthwhile to go on that journey to better yourself and realize how worthy you are of feeling happy and good. Now, side note, it is totally normal to have negative emotions, or what we call negative emotions. They're just part of the spectrum of emotions we are supposed to feel. I used to think emotions, if they were sad or negative, were bad, but really they are guides to show us what we want and don't want in our life. So I don't have zero emotions now. I just have learned how to balance mine and control them in a much healthier manner. I personally use BetterHelp Online Therapy, and I'm currently still using it now. It was the one I had heard of the most, so I just happened to use it. I do, however, have an affiliate link now. However, anyone that signs up for BetterHelp can get an affiliate link. It is for me $35 a week. I've had people reach out saying, no, but for me it was this price or this price. You have to go into the pricing options and change how much you want to pay. There are different options depending on how long you have your subscription for. I pay $35 a week because I do a longer plan. Personally, I recommend that because you do end up spending a lot less, and you kind of have that commitment to do it a little bit longer term. I've had a lot of questions asking about the price, saying they couldn't afford it. I completely get that. If I was still living in my trailer that I was living with that boyfriend like 6 or so years ago, I wouldn't have been able to afford this yet either, and I understand that sometimes $35 for someone can be a lot of income. For some people, they look at that and think that's nothing. When I was, literally looking for quarters in my couch to buy a dollar menu cheeseburger, $35 was a lot for me. What I will say is that I have made more money in this year alone than I have in the past 2 years because I have more motivation to do my job, and I'm doing my job properly. I'm working smarter, not harder, and I'm able to do things I can see things a lot clearer. I have a clearer path towards success. So if you can afford it, I do feel like for me, the money was worth it, and that I have seen a big, almost like a payoff in return. I have done in-person therapy and online therapy, and for me, I have liked online therapy 10 times more than I ever liked in-person therapy. Personally, I thought therapy was not for me when I did it in person. I think it's really hard to open up and talk to someone when you're looking at them, and I think the beauty of online therapy is you don't have to see them face to face. With BetterHelp, there are 3 different options. You can talk to them via like online chat, kind of like, AOL Instant Messenger. Did anyone else have that? Just me? Let me know. Phone call or Skype. I have done this for 7 months, and I have only ever done live chat, meaning you can get incredible results just through live chat if you aren't comfortable with a phone call or a video. The thing I do like about BetterHelp though is that if you don't vibe with your therapist, because sometimes you may not vibe with them, BetterHelp has a thing where they match you with a therapist that they think is best for you, but if you don't feel like they are the therapist for you, you can switch for free, and then they give you a free extra week with your new therapist. So I will recommend, if you don't vibe with your therapist right away, I would still give it a few weeks to just see how things go before you just, write it off. I also wanted to mention that something I've noticed is a lot of people who've tried therapy after even seeing it from me, or just in general, have said, hey, I actually quit therapy after a few weeks because I left feeling worse, or that therapy was really hard for them. This is something that it took me a long time to learn through my therapy journey, that I really want to make sure you understand. It is normal to feel worse after therapy, especially if you're talking about deep, dark things. Okay, in order for us to feel light, we have to bring out the darkness that we have pushed down and hidden for so long. Those traumas, those insecurities, those struggles that you have shut away because you thought you had to hide them and be strong. As you bring them to the light, they have to come to surface first. And when you're talking about really tough things, it's going to hurt. It is normal to feel worse, but it is worth it because you will eventually feel better. I get questions all the time about, oh my gosh, you look so healthier lately. How are things with your mom? How are you dealing with your anxiety? How are you dealing with this? How have you dealt with anything in general? And I always just feel guilty for saying therapy, because I've had a lot of DMs of people saying like, okay, but what else? Now there are other things like meditating and journaling and, the way you talk to yourself, the people you surround yourself with, setting boundaries, all of those things are very important. But one thing I'll say is I struggled with the consistency of those things in my life. I'll even tell those ideas to so many people, and then they'll tell me that it's not working, and then they'll admit that they actually haven't really tried it. There's this like plague of all of us, including myself, always online or just looking for something to make us feel better and something to help us, but never actually doing the stuff we learn. There's only so many different ways to get better, and you just have to actually go and do those things. You have to do the meditation, do the journaling, talk to the person that's hurting your feelings, set the boundaries, be nicer to yourself. And for me, going to a therapist taught me how to implement that structure into my life. So that's why it's been so important, is I wasn't always able to stick with the things that I needed to stick with to be my best self, but with therapy, I am able to do those things. And I know it may seem like a hard thing to do to start therapy because there's so many stigmas online, but there's nothing wrong with going to therapy. It's not lame. It doesn't mean there's something wrong with you. It means that you are brave enough to go and tell someone, just brave enough to go and talk to someone. You're brave enough to be vulnerable and open. There are a lot more benefits of therapy. This is actually my third time filming this. The first time I was telling you how much it changed my life, and I just cried the whole time. And again, there's nothing wrong with crying. You've seen me cry if you've been around long enough, or if you follow me on Instagram. I am very open with my tears, but I just felt like I wanted to make this video something where I gave you the full information to help you, and not just, my story and a lot of my emotions. I wanted this to be beneficial so you get the information you need. If you have other questions about therapy, let me know in the comments down below, and I will reply to every single comment with all the information that I have, and hopefully it will be helpful to you. Make sure to give this video a thumbs up and subscribe if you are new. I'm gonna go drink a big glass of water because it's so hot and turn my air back on. I love you guys so much, and I'll talk to you next time. Bye.